Howdy folks, this is Travis of Elston Equine Solutions here, and today's topic is ranching. What we'll be talking about specifically, especially partnering with the Clough & Company, is high density polyurethane piping. Otherwise down here in Arizona it is known as ranch pipe. Basically we use ranch pipe to go to different water troughs all across the desert. Water in the desert is like gold to a miner. Okay, it is important stuff, very, very important. And a lot of times, rats will eat on the piping, or the piping will be weakened by a forest fire to cut through, or a thorn hits it, or a cattle steps on it, and it creates a leak. So in this video, we're going to show you how to replace the leak. And what's important about this video, if you're in Arizona, New Mexico, or any other state that has a desert and using these type of ranch pipelines to transfer water, it might be important to watch it because we'll show you how to fix a sprung leak. And we got a lot of videos on it showing you how to do it. So that's important. If you're into this, the rest of you, if you're watching it, you'll probably rather be in the Himalayas herding yaks or something. And if you're just interested, by all means, watch it. But that's what's next on this channel for ranching. Check it out.
Alright, so we're fixing a leak in a section of HDPE or ranch pipe that leaves a storage tank down in the creek and pumps up with a lift of about 800 feet to some other storage tanks, and then gravity feeds a whole network of pipes. This line was burned several years ago in a forest fire, and of course the Forest Service didn't replace it. They just want the rancher to patch it, which is really ridiculous because of course the fire burned to pieces here and there. About every 10 feet you're putting on a new patch. So several times a week you got to come up here and find the leak, go back, shut off the pump, come back with the mule with the generator and the fuser and patch it, and then turn your pump back on, and then it finds the new weak spot from the fire. So it's a really ridiculous decision to not just replace all this line, but of course that's what you get dealing with the government.
Now what do we got here? This is one of the leaks you're talking about, right? Now what's this blue thing that's on here?
Well, we rode by it the other day. I put this temporary patch on. It's a metal patch with clamps, and it's got a rubber interior. If you have a gravity line, it'll pretty much stop it, but on a pressure line, all it does is slow it down for a tiny bit. It really doesn't do any good, and the pipe will go ahead and blow out around it. So.
All right, so let's take a look at it. How much one of these things cost?
Oh, $30, $40 probably. And like I said, on some lines, low pressure lines or gravity lines, I mean, people use them as a permanent fix, I guess, but on a line carrying this line by this point has probably about 300 psi on it, so all it does is slow it down a little bit. I've already turned the pump off, so when we break this open the leak won't be too bad. It's no longer under pressure, but there's the patch off, and then you got to saw into it and let the line drain back from the last check valve. So, and try and see where it's split there. You can feel where it's a little bit of a burned area, and then it started to split back from the worst of the burn. So you kind of try and pick your point there where maybe you get all of the split.
We got a fountain water. I feel like I just jumped in a swimming pool.
Summer it'll be about 500 degrees coming out of
Because that's jagged and crooked kinda, you want to cut another edges straight, is that correct?
No, I'm cutting out the bad part is right here.
Okay, gotcha. You still want a straight edge, right?
Yeah, you cut it as straight as you can, and then once you clamp it in the fuser, you shave it and get it perfectly straight.
All right, we got some free water for the doggy. Oh, Franken Roo. She got her stitches removed the other days. If you remember that episode of Roo versus the Cuda Monday. So she's looking a lot better.
And everything, I use it 2-3 times a week, so it really wasn't, you know, I couldn't rely on the Forest Service, so I had to go buy my own. These cost about $4,000 just for this. Basically, these 3 pieces of the fuser, plus you've got a little generator that you need to buy that's small enough you can pack it on a mule. So the fuser consists of this clamp that holds the 2 ends of pipe together. You've got a shaver you put in there with blades on it, so you can shave the 2 faces of the pipe to be exactly square. And then you've got a hot plate here that you heat up, plugged into the generator, and that's what you put in between the 2 pieces of pipe, clamp it down, and hold it while it sets. So if you believe it or not, that's $4,000 worth of stuff. They come with inserts for different sizes of pipe, so you can change it. Most of the pipe is either 1.5 or 1.25, but I have some old stuff that's 1 inch or 3/4, so you got to buy all the inserts too. But we can start getting it ready and see if we have enough pipe. With the section, the bad section I cut out, I got to see if we have enough to just pull it together and fuse the 2 old ends together, or if we need to get a piece of new pipe in there. I've got stashes of new pipe in various places all along, so we may have to ride to a stash of new pipe and cut out a piece to come back, but hopefully we can just make this stretch.
Good deal.
Gotta get it in there as square as you can.
And I tell you, this water systems are important in the desert, because I mean, not only you're watering the cattle, but you're watering the bear that come down, the mountain lions, the deer, about every critter walks on 4 legs, sometimes even hunters.
Yeah, and this old pipe, that's part of the problem. Even though this is 1.25 inches, it's not fitting in the 1.25 inch dies. I'm gonna have to change to 1.5 inch dies. Some of the older, well, not real old, but a little bit older, thicker walled pipe, they have different actual thicknesses, so it ends up with different ODs. So in theory, this is supposed to be 1.25 inches. Should fit right in those dies, but it's not letting it come down enough. I'll have to change to 1.5 inch dies, and the 1.5 inch dies will actually be too big. So I'll put a little bit of debris in there and clamp it down enough to make it work. So now I got to change dies.
Improvise, adapt, and overcome.
So I'm getting the dies changed. Like I said, 1.25 inch, even though it's 1.25 inch pipe, this line has been patched so many times with different pressure ratings of 1.25 inch pipe, different grades of it. Also, there's some 1.5 inch pipe in here just because it was, you know, maybe a thicker walled one fit better with a thinner walled of something else when the patch was made. So there's just, it's a mess of an old line. Anyway, so I figured out that sometimes, even though it's marked 1.25 inches, actually the 1.5 inch dies fit it better well, neither fit it, but you can use 1.5" dies, and then you'll see I can put some of the shaving scraps in between there and make the 1.5" suck down on it enough to hold it and fuse it. We saw a minute ago where 1.25" it wouldn't clamp down. Now 1.5". Once I tighten it, it's going to still be a little bit loose, but I can make it work. So what you do is go ahead and get everything set. Sometimes I've even used a mix, 1.25" die on one side, 1.5" on the other.
So once you figure out the mechanics of all this, and this just using a lot of common sense and a lot of past experiences to get the job done, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Even though that's the downhill side, it's still got water in this end.
And it's important to get the water out because of the fuser, right?
Yeah. The uphill end is pretty much quit raining. But we'll have to maybe walk the line and see, you know, we're a good 6-8 inches short there. We need to try and walk it and get some slack.
Alright, so we just stretched the hose, and now you're placing the hose back in that side of the clamp, the uphill side.
Should be able to stretch it, make it work. As you can see here, I got a little bit of water draining, but those faces don't exactly line up. So now you put the shaver in there.
Easier than shaving cheddar cheese in the kitchen, huh? No? I guess not. A little bit tougher.
So you get all this debris, you want to get it out of there because that's real good at stopping up a float later on down the line. But you get all this shavings, and that's what I've found, because it's something here and you have it's convenient. You need to be able to have this clamp holding pretty good on the pipe. When you go to fuse it together, you really slam it together and use a lot of pressure. Like I said, it's not really the right size dies either way. So if you feel like you can't get it tight enough, which actually I feel like I do, what I've done before is undo it and put a wad of this in there inside that die, and then clamp it down again, and that helps hold it enough that it won't move. But it acts like it's gonna work, and there you can see now they meet up nicer. So now we got to get the hot plate hot. Normally I would have already had it running all this time, heating up, but now we got to start the generator and get that going.
Fahrenheit, so it's good, right?
dripping a little bit. I don't like that. I need to try and get up over there by the horse. Hopefully another wave of it won't come. So you put the hot plate in there, clamp it shut, holding some pressure on it, but not too much. You go to watching it melt. The manual has times for doing all this, but I've done this literally thousands of times, so I just kind of know. And I can watch by how the pipe starts melting around the hot plate. You want to get a good even heating of the pipe all the way around. You can see how it's starting to curl there, especially on this side. It's starting to curl a little bit. It's going to leave a ridge there. Like I said, I'm holding a little bit of pressure, but not a terrible amount. It's getting a good even heating. And then what I kind of do is put a little extra pressure and see how soft it is, kind of a little test. And that looks like it's about right from my experience. So I back off and let it have another 10 or 15 seconds. And then I'm going to snatch this out of here and slam it shut, hold it, and clamp it. Hold that, and then it's got a clamp that hold it, but I generally hold it for the first minute or so myself. Let it stay clamped in there and cool down. Alright, so it should be done now. Waited a long enough time, and you can also feel that it's cool. So you release the clamp. There it is.
Wow, look at that. Just stuck together. Easier than making flapjacks. Sealed deal. Woo, doggy. Yeah. Ha-ha, one down, one to go. We got another one to fix. More piping. We're gonna pack up to there next. Oh boy, oh boy. Alright, so we're at the second location. There's a water trough right over there. Another gravity fed water trough made out of rock. Cattle are not really in this pasture, but they will be in the future, so we came down here to check everything. And we stumbled upon this thin tubing. And then we placed it best we could as a patchwork just with this wire. So we shut up the valve, came over here, and I've already hacksawed through this right here with that damaged piece taken off, and now we're just going to put everything together and get her fixed, just like you've seen before. So obviously we're changing out the dyes from the last piping they seen us work on, and Kristen's putting in the new dye. Little Allen wrench that's provided with the kit. We got lucky with this Make Elroy was used, seen it on online, and purchased it. Boy, they had the manual, they had everything with it, even an Allen wrench. So we got lucky. Alright, so the 1-inch dies are in. Alright, so I'm lifting up the pipe so I can get some more water out of it. Already did this once, and more's coming back from the trough there, so gotta make sure it's kind of dry before we can heat it and glue it all together with the fusing machine. Is it stopped? Like our generator has heated everything up to 450. Jam. Oh, look at there. Nice. Nice. Two curlies right next to each other. Sealed. Alright, gonna let it set for a bit. It's just breaking in.
No, it's where something's been chewing on it. See that?
Alright, so we're fixing this. We just noticed there's a little bit of knot marks right here. So we went ahead and placed this section too while we're here, just as a precaution. Another one bites dust. Alright, today's about done for us. We've already fixed everything, and I hope you like this episode of Elston Equine Solutions, and partner with the Cloth and Cow Company on how to fix water piping. And it's a very important skill to have if you're ranching in Arizona, New Mexico, or pretty much anywhere else that needs water out in the desert. So good stuff. So if you never used one before, now you know, especially if you get into this business. Anyhow, hit like and subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care now. Adios.